Hey everyone, and welcome. So if you build, manage, or even just think about software security, you're going to want to listen up. The brand new OWASP Top 10 for 2025 just dropped, and today we're going to break it all down, what it is, what's new, and most importantly, how you can actually use it to make your stuff safer. Okay, let's get right into it.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Where do you even start? You've got potentially hundreds, maybe thousands of vulnerabilities. How do you know what to focus on first?
Well, for more than 20 years now, development and security teams all over the world have looked to this one single document as their starting point. It's really become the industry's go-to guide for understanding the most critical threats out there. So before we jump into the new list, let's start with the basics. What exactly is OWASP, and how in the world does this super influential list even get made?
So OWASP is a nonprofit foundation. And what's cool about it is that it's entirely community-led. Their whole mission is just to make software more secure for all of us. And they do that by creating free, open-source tools and docs like the Top 10 that anyone, anywhere can use.
And this isn't some fly-by-night thing. The very first Top 10 list came out way back in 2003. They purposely only update it every 3 or 4 years, which is smart because it gives the industry a stable, consistent baseline to work from while still evolving to tackle new threats like API flaws and now the whole software supply chain.
Now, how they actually build this thing is pretty fascinating. It's a two-part approach. First, they do this massive data call. For 2025, they collected data from over 2.8 million applications, which is just mind-boggling. That hard data gives them the top 8 most common risks. But they don't stop there. They save 2 spots for a community survey, so real people, practitioners in the trenches, can vote on what they think are the most important risks. And that survey part is so important. As the project lead Brian Glass says here, if the list was only based on data from tools, it would just be a look into the past. The survey is what brings in those emerging threats, the things that automated tools often miss, like fundamental flaws in an application's design. It's a brilliant mix of data and human experience.
Okay, with all that context, let's get to the main event. Here it is, the brand new OWASP Top 10 list for 2025.
So let's run through the first 5. Still holding down the number 1 spot is broken access control. This is basically when users can get to stuff they shouldn't be able to. Number 2, we've got security misconfiguration. Think default passwords or cloud storage buckets left wide open. Number 3 is the big new one, software supply chain failures, which is all about risks from third-party code or insecure build pipelines. At 4 is cryptographic failures, things like weak encryption or not encrypting sensitive data at all. And at number 5, the old classic, injection, where an attacker tricks your app into running malicious commands.
Now for the second half. At number 6, we have insecure design. This means security was an afterthought, not baked in from the beginning. 7 is authentication failures, so weaknesses in logins and session management. At 8, software or data integrity failures. That's when you can't protect your code or critical data from being tampered with. Number 9 is logging and alerting failures. This one's huge. It basically means you're flying blind when an attack happens. And rounding out the list at 10 is another new one, mishandling of exceptional conditions, where unexpected errors can actually leave you in an insecure state.
Okay, so this isn't just a simple reshuffle of the old list. These changes really reflect some major shifts in how software is being built and attacked today. Let's put it side by side with the 2021 list to see what's really different.
Seeing them like this makes it pop, right? Yep, broken access control is still number 1. No surprise there. But whoa, look at security misconfiguration jumping all the way up to number 2. And of course, you can clearly see those brand new entries for 2025.
So let's just recap those key moves. We've got 2 huge new categories. Software supply chain failures, which is a much broader take than the old vulnerable components because it covers the entire delivery pipeline. And mishandling of exceptional conditions, which is totally new. Oh, and server-side request forgery, or SSRF, that's been rolled into broken access control because really, that's what it is, a specific type of that failure. Makes a lot of sense.
And this quote from Brian Glass gives us a peek behind the curtain on why that new A10 category made it in. Apparently, it's been bubbling just under the surface for years, and now, with the latest data and community feedback, it's finally getting the spotlight. And that's really the whole point of the Top 10, to raise the bar for everyone with each new version.
All right, so having the list is one thing, but using it the right way, that's a whole other ballgame. You've got to remember, it's an incredibly powerful awareness tool, but it is not a complete security program in a box.
So where does it really shine? Well, it's perfect for awareness and training, getting everyone from new devs to managers on the same page. It is an amazing starting point if you're just kicking off a security program.
and it gives you a shared language to talk about these complex risks with people who aren't security experts, like executives or even your customers.
And just as important, maybe even more so, is knowing when not to use it. Look, it is not a complete security standard. It doesn't replace doing deep threat modeling or proper architecture reviews. And please, don't just copy and paste it into a contract as a compliance checklist. And whatever you do, don't make it your only metric. Just being OWASP Top 10 compliant does not mean you're secure.
I think this quote just hits the nail on the head. The OWASP Top 10 is the global baseline, but your company, your team, you have your own unique top 10, or maybe it's just a top 3. The idea is to use this list as a model to help you find and focus on the risks that matter most in your world.
And that brings us to the final, and I think most important point. The top 10 is the start of the conversation, not the end. So what comes next?
Think of it like this. The top 10 shows you the 10 most obvious, most dangerous parts of the iceberg that are sticking out of the water. But a really mature security program, that's about dealing with the whole thing, all the massive structure and the processes hiding below the waterline that stop those big risks from ever surfacing in the first place.
And the best part is, OWASP gives you the tools for that too. Projects like SAMM, the Software Assurance Maturity Model, and ASVS, the Application Security Verification Standard, these are concrete frameworks to help you build security into your entire development process. They are the how that answers the what of the top 10.
So we'll end on this question. The 2025 OWASP Top 10 has done its job. It's raised the alarm, it's pointed a giant spotlight on the biggest risks we're all facing. Now the question is, what are you going to build to stop them? Thanks so much for joining me.